The movie begins with a former boxer and drug mule, Bradley Thomas, who is laid off his job at an auto repair shop. He proceeds to clear the locker, and a few minutes later, he leaves the auto repair shop. As he arrives home, he sees his wife, Lauren, sitting in her car, having a conversation with someone on her cell phone. Bradley gets off his vehicle and approaches Lauren. He moves her hair and finds a love bite on her neck. She immediately confesses that she has been seeing someone else. He grabs her bag and empties it, going through her phone. Bradley orders her inside before proceeding to violently dismantling her car with his bare hands. However, later, when calm, he discusses their falling relationship with Lauren, and in the end, Bradley decides to forgive Lauren, and they both agree to return to work as a drug mule to sustain the family. 18 months later, Bradley is seen concluding a drug deal, after which he is paid in cash. He is now able to afford a larger, more expensive home, where he lives with his new pregnant wife, Lauren. Everything seems to be going very well for the couple until he receives a call from his boss, Gil, who introduces Bradley to Eleazar, a new business associate, giving him a new task, which involves sailing off the coast with 2 of Eleazar's men to pick up a package of crystal meth. However, Bradley does not trust the larger of the 2 men, Roman, and protests his participation in the mission. Gil intervenes, calling Bradley aside and offering him a 3-month paternity leave in exchange for going along with the plan and protecting his interests. That night, Bradley retrieves Roman's weapon, then they board a boat far into the sea. After a considerable distance, the boat comes to a stop, and Roman's colleague takes a dive into the water where he cuts free a box while immediately goes back up the surface of the water. They empty the box and secure the package. As they arrive at the pier, Bradley quickly senses that they're walking into a police trap and dumps his bag into the water. He instructs the other 2 to do the same, but they ignore him and are eventually caught up in a police firefight where they injure 3 officers. Bradley pauses and considers turning away but changes his mind, grabs his gun, and shoots both Eleazar's men in order to assist the police. The 3rd drug trafficker dies in the shootout, and Bradley is subdued and taken into custody, where he's eventually sentenced to 7 years imprisonment in a medium-security prison. Lauren pays a visit to Bradley, though disappointed at him, but he reassures her that everything would be fine. Bradley arrives prison where he's made to go through arrival protocols. He meets Lefty, an old man, while accompanying Bradley to his private cell, informs him that he has been in prison for 28 years for murdering 2 men years ago. They arrive Bradley's private cell, guarded by an African-American officer, who quickly becomes a menace to Bradley. He lays down his rules for his observation, then Bradley enters his cell. That night, Andre, the African-American officer, lines the inmates, taking particular interest in Bradley, who did not respond in time to the wake-up call. Meanwhile, during the night, Lauren hears someone trying to break into the house. She grabs her gun and opens multiple fire at the entrance to her room. After a while, she is shot at with a substance which makes her sleep, giving Eleazar's men the opportunity to kidnap her. On the 2nd day of his incarceration, he visits the infirmary, where a lady informs him that Dr. Pellman, his wife's obstetrician, said that there were some complications with her pregnancy and wants to meet with him in person. Hours later, Officer Andre comes to get Bradley and takes him to the outer gate, where he meets a very strange man who is definitely not Dr. Pellman. The placid man informs Bradley that unless he assassinates an inmate called Christopher Bridge, located in Redleaf Correctional Facility, a separate maximum security prison, the limbs of this unborn child will be surgically removed by an expert abortionist and sent to him. Bradley is forced to accept this task just to keep his family safe. Now, how would he get himself to Redleaf? Via Kancham. Bradley picks a fight with Officer Andre, using his boxing skills to defeat and subdue him before the attention of other officers are drawn to the scene. They cuff and take Bradley away, but then he picks a fight with multiple guards until he is overpowered and transferred to Redleaf. On his arrival at the maximum security prison, a team of armed guards along with an unforgiving warden, Tugs, arrive to pick him up. Tugs makes sure to inform Bradley that he has minimum freedom in this prison, which only gets smaller anytime he misbehaves. Bradley is taken by the guards and made to stay inside a horrible cell, where the toilet is clogged with feces with a smell so bad he has to tie his nose with his shirt. After a few hours, a guard comes in to guide him outside the yard for some free time. He meets another inmate, and asks about a man named Christopher Bridge in cell 99. The inmate tells his that Christopher Bridge is not located in this section of the prison but in another section known as cell block 99, which seems like a prison within the prison. Bradley quickly picks a fight with some other inmates, beating the crap out of them one after the other until the guards arrive, and he is subsequently thrown into cell block 99, his target destination. Warden Tuggs explains that cell block 99 is where he devises special punishment for society's most notorious criminals. Bradley is forced to wear a stun belt which gives him a high voltage of electric shocks at the push of a button. Few minutes later, he is thrown into his own cell in block 99, with multiple glasses lined up on the floor and a crude squat toilet hole. To Bradley, this is not nearly his worst nightmare. He would do anything to keep Lauren and the baby safe. Bradley speaks to a man in an adjacent cell, who informs him that Christopher Bridge does not exist at all. Lauren is blindfolded and tied up while pictures of her is taken to be sent to Eleazar. The expert abortionist has just arrived. During the night, a young brutal guard named Wilson quietly escorts Bradley to a much larger cell in block 99, where Eleazar, Roman, and 2 other gangsters are seen waiting for him. Eleazar tortures Bradley with the electric belt and taunts him by threatening to call the abortionists to rip his wife and child apart. Bradley is beaten by the gangsters and shocked so bad that he is dragged back to his cell unconscious. After days of arriving at the prison, he is given his first meal. Bradley denses a plan and tears out the lining of his shoes, taking the rubber and placing it between his body and the belt to prevent the shocks. When Wilson and another guard show up to get him, he ambushes them, beating the crap out of them, after which he takes Wilson hostage, demanding for the key from the second guard. He kills Wilson by smashing his head against the wall using his cell door, then locks up the second guard. He quickly unlocks his chains, then proceeds to confront Eleazar and his gangsters. An intense fight ensues as Bradley brutally kills all 3 henchmen in a hand-to-hand combat. Eleazar calls the Placid Man and instructs him to activate the abortionists. Bradley grabs Eleazar by the neck and first tortures him by breaking his leg, then calls the Placid Man to negotiate for Lauren's freedom, which is immediately effected. It is agreed that the Placid Man will deliver Lauren to Gil's house. Bradley drags Eleazar into his own cell, across the broken glass, to await confirmation of Lauren's freedom. While at it, Warden Tuggs and his men arrive at block 99, but Bradley threatens to kill Eleazar and the other guard he had earlier locked up. He states that he is waiting for a phone call and promises to surrender peacefully exactly 1 minute after the call ends. The Placid Man and abortionists follow Eleazar's instructions and drives Lauren unharmed to Gil's house. But as they drop her off and drive away, Gil kills the Placid Man using an assault rifle, while Lauren takes the rifle and eliminates the abortionists. Gil then phones Bradley to inform him that his family is safe. Bradley speaks to Lauren for the last time as he breaks into tears while speaking to their unborn child. After the call, he destroys the cell phone and reminds Warden Tuggs 60 seconds of freedom remaining, while concurrently smashing Eleazar's face into the squat hole, decapitating Eleazar. The warden and his men finally enter the cell, then Bradley is ordered to turn around with his hand behind his head. Bradley is then shot by Tuggs. This is Falcon Recaps. Thanks for watching.